What's up? This is Gardy and Curt here with Clear Life Media. We're at the Clear Life HQ in League City, Texas, where a lot of fun things happen. This is the podcast studio, so we're doing a podcast. A little telling.
You know, this room is awesome because this was one of the first rooms when we got the space that this was going to be the room that we developed. It's the whole reason why we got a studio was a podcast.
Yeah, and we've been in the studio for a little over, it goes by quick, actually. You know, we got in February of 2024.
Yeah.
And then we didn't really officially open until the summer.
July. So we've been open for probably just over a year.
Yeah. And I think whenever we envisioned having a space, podcasting has been a huge part of our business and what we do and how we met. And just to be transparent, it hasn't gone exactly how we thought it would.
Yeah, you would think most people would want podcasting. And podcasting is unique and different that it's that last part of the marketing budget that you think about. You know, it's that last little thing that, I have an extra chunk of change. Let me try to do some podcasting. But I think it's really important because it can connect you with your audience more than just doing like a quick video, because you can kind of showcase your personality. And that's why people connect with certain businesses, especially our business.
Yeah. One thing we always tell people whenever they're interested in a podcast is, are you the expert in your space? You know, if you are not the expert, or at least one of the experts, or know everything from top to bottom, then you probably, you can have a podcast about whatever you want, but to have somebody get interested in what you're saying, like you have to be, a leader in the field. You know, that's my opinion. I think that's one of the, if there's a checklist,
Pillar.
Do I need a podcast? Do I know what I'm talking about? Am I an expert in my space? Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to do a podcast.
You know, we talked about at lunch just a little bit ago about how, for us doing the radio station, which was kind of an advanced form of podcast. It was podcasting before it was podcasting, right? And we talked about how that really helped skyrocket Clear Life into what it is today, because you start building connections, especially if you have a podcast where you can bring in other individuals to be on your podcast. It widens your network, and your network is your net worth.
Did you make that up?
No, it's a business term.
So something else about podcasting, like even how you're communicating right now, it's more broadcast. It's not podcast.
Yeah, there's difference between it, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, but also I feel that to be able to get somebody to tune in, I look at like Joe Rogan.
Joe's good.
He's the biggest, if not the one of the biggest podcasters in the world, right? Has been doing it for years. But look at the way he communicates to people. And I feel like it's the casualness, because sometimes we want the polished product, but that's the beauty of the podcast. That's a video.
That's a training video. That's a safety video. That's a commercial that runs on during the football game or the MMA broadcast. That's a video. Yeah.
Right. And a podcast is more of that, hey, that raw, that conversation. And you asked me before we got on here, Gardy, what are we talking about? What are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? And I was like, don't worry about it. And then I almost had to call in somebody else.
Sort of structure. But this is where you and I differ as personalities. I like structure. Sometimes I do like structure. Why are you laughing? I do like structure. But back in the day when we were doing KHEA, it was the same thing. We never had what we were going to go into. We were live every single day.
You used to try to. And
I did. I hated that we didn't
honestly
know.
What happened, it was stressful. It created more work on a thing that, not that we got into the space because we didn't like work. There's a lot of work that we do.
Yeah.
But it took the fun out of it. It became work. I look at it from a songwriting perspective. I grew up playing in bands. I still play music. And I heard an interview one time. I can't remember for the life of me who it was.
Yeah.
But it was like, man, I got into music to quit having to do homework. And so it's like, man, I'm writing a song. I'm going to at least try and hash it out, as much as I can. So that way it's not looming over my head. But I look at it, we've done tons of interviews. I like to be prepared, but I also like to have a fresh perspective going in. So that way I'm actually learning about what's going on.
Yeah. I feel like that's, we get mad when people ask us and like, hey, what are the questions I need to ask? And I'm like, dude, I never have it written out ever. I don't even remember. Probably when I was in college, when you first start out, 100% probably had them written out. But after probably doing maybe half dozen or whatever, that like No, you just go in there, you know what the objective is, and you're going to get to that just by having a conversation with the person.
Yeah, you look at the finished product and what's the goal? What am I trying to get out of this and go from there. But again, to go back to podcasting, I think being a leader in your space, not having everything be crystal clear. Like I know exactly every segment. It's good to be prepared, but I like segments.
I think that's where people maybe that's when they get hung up on trying to actually do a podcast because they feel like they have to have it all mapped out and
Right.
ready to go. And sometimes you don't.
It's beauty of the flow. It's a
And you'll
conversation.
figure it
If you have a
out.
guest there,
And
right?
and there's no need. Like I feel like, how many Clear Life podcasts have we done? Maybe like 5, right? If that, right? But none of them have ever gone exactly the same. So you can switch it up and change it up, as you're going. Like get one done. Hey, I didn't like that. I didn't want to do that. Do it for the next one,
Right.
at least get it done. How many podcast clients did we have that even like waited to release their content?
That was my third. That was my third
point. Like
Yeah.
get the content out. Like content is content. Here's another one for you. Content is king. It is like just having content really is beneficial. We discuss that as business owners probably every day, including for our own business.
Mhm.
Hey, how do we get this content? Should we release this content? Is this content good enough? We go through that even as media people almost every day.
Right. Yeah. So that was my third one, just to release the content. Sometimes you want the specific game plan on how to do it and a marketing plan. If you have a marketing team, most of the time, people that are big business, they may have a whole marketing team. A small business or somebody that's like in their living room right now being like, hey, I'm starting a podcast and I'm going with where I'm at. Just release the content because you can change, you can evolve, So yeah, being an expert, if you're interested in starting a podcast, I feel the most important things that you need to make sure to see if you're qualified is being an expert, knowing what you're talking about, going with the flow. That means not having everything crystal clear and perfect. And then the other thing is you got to release the content, start with where you're at, and then you can finish, in a month. You'd be surprised like how much progress you've made.
And it's a simple call too. And there's great pricing. Like for us right now, it's $500.
Yeah.
Like you can't beat that. Like you can't shoot a video for that, like you can't beat coming in 4 times a month at $500. Like that's a great price.
Yeah, it's a really good rate. Whenever you do video, you see the kind of pricing, and I don't want to get into pricing, but there's, $15,000 worth of cameras pointed at us right now, at least.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, cameras, lenses. There's a lot.
15,000, not 1,500. 1,000.
And so you don't have to have a 6K, 4K camera pointed at you, but you can have a cell phone. But start where you're at, and then obviously there's, hey, I want to take the stress out of my life. That's whenever you partner with people like Clear Life, because that's what we do. We can take the technical aspect out of it. Hey, you come in, I'm the expert. I'm gonna have somebody to talk to. I know I can go with the flow. I'm the personality, and I'm gonna have some fun and release this content. And Clear Life handles everything else.
And on top of that too, I think the cool like that we bring is you and I have done so many podcasts or so many like sit down interviews and stuff like that even if you aren't comfortable leading a podcast, you can rely on Gardy and myself to help lead that podcast for you. And then that will allow you to get your content still out, but then you don't have to lead it. So if you're not comfortable being a leader, but you want your information, man, sitting down with you for 20, 30 minutes, talking about what you're an expert in, like we could love to carry that conversation as well.
Yeah, it's fun.
The other thing too, talking about like even pricing of gear, recently I had a friend reach out that was thinking about streaming content, like they're a gamer and wanted to stream. And so what type of equipment can you need? We could even help with some of that too, and providing some of that. I saw a webcam for like $124.
Yeah.
That you can just attach to your computer and go. That's always a good start because maybe you want to get comfortable doing something small first and then work your way into Clear Life. That's fantastic as well. We support people being content and just getting content out. We want you to be successful. So whether that's through Clear Life or helping you get started with something small, we love doing that.
Right. earlier we had the opportunity to go speak at NAB with Black Magic. That was in Las Vegas. And maybe about 3 days ago, I messaged you and said, did we ever release any of that footage? And we never released any of it. That's because we don't get the opportunity to work on things that we want to as often as we do, because we put other people's projects and clients, those go to the top of the list, right?
Right.
And then you get those out first. Right now we've had an opportunity to where we had a slowdown in broadcasts, which has been keeping us very busy, and we've been blessed with that. So it was like, man, hey, what can we work on? And so we were dreaming up some things and said, let's go record a podcast. But looking at NAB, I think it'd be great to get something out. We never really spoke and shared how that went, and I posted something from Clear Life a couple days ago from that, and someone was like, oh, Doug. It was actually someone we met at EBI in San Antonio. He was one of the videographers there, but he's like, oh, Doug Johnson, who has been a big inspiration for Clear Life, and you had the chance to talk to him and share that with him as well.
It's interesting because even for like people like, getting content out, I noticed Doug hasn't posted a video in a while, which is a good thing because he's probably super busy. For us, we just did 2 straight months every weekend having a broadcast, a major broadcast. It wasn't like anything like, oh, just something simple. They were major broadcasts with major clients, new clients, big clients. And it just felt like we never had time to like sit down and even think. But even like I don't think I've ever released like a Clear Life Media highlight reel of everything that we've done before. And I know there are some videographers that do. I can't think of a time that we have.
Yeah, sometimes it's for a purpose.
Right.
Like the opener for NAB, we just watched some of that because as we were looking at some of the footage from that, and I was like, oh, snap, there is that video, and we have it on a server and stuff too. There are some things, and I would say even like the Clear Life live stream opener, but we don't have everything. And that may be something that if we get a chance to put together, that seems like it would be fun. It tells a story, right?
There are production companies that have them, and we just haven't been able to sit down and do it. Hopefully this month, since we only have 2 broadcasts, maybe we'll get some time.
Something else that I wanted to talk about that is kind of interesting, here locally, we heard some rumblings back to us that they thought we didn't work with video clients anymore, small or anything, that we were only doing live streams for fights. And that is so not true. That's the furthest thing from the truth. We still have multiple clients that we have the opportunity to work with, in Texas and the Houston area and market, local colleges and universities, car dealerships, all kinds of things, honestly, real estate. There's different things that we get to do all the time. TV shows that we've worked on that I guess it's our fault. We're going to do a better job of starting to show that content. And we're starting where we're at. So that way people realize, hey, Clear Life can still help me, because that's what we got back to us, right?
Right. Yeah, it came back to us. But the interesting thing is like, that's our bread and butter is live streaming, I guess, if you want to call it that. But what started Clear Life and what we built Clear Life as was a video company, shooting video, making content, doing commercials. But I've thought about this a little bit too in the last week or so, now that we've kind of had a breath from live streaming. Is it a shift in Clear Life or a shift in the industry? Have you thought about that? Because if you look back when we first started Clear Life, it was only about like people were making commercials. Like you would do a quick little one-off on social media. But now the industry is social media clips. It's not like, hey, come shoot a commercial for me to tell people about my business. No, it's like, hey, I need my social media to grow, which we also provide. We do that with Muscle Cars of Texas. We shoot, instead of doing little commercials, we're doing videos for their social media. So it's just kind of interesting because I feel like there's also been a shift in the industry, but also a shift in what we have put out as marketing for Clear Life.
I look at it like this. We've had things that we're promoting and it may get 25 million views on a super short clip. And the whole point of the clip is to promote an event or promote something, right? And then we've put in hours and hours on video content saying the exact same message, and it may get 1,000 views, which 1,000 views is great. But if you can pick between, I'm going to get 1,000 views and 25 million views, I want the 25 million views, right? Because that reaches more people and it's also doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, all day.
All day, right? Yeah,
Right?
it's not even a debate, but I do still see part of the things that like where I disagree in some of maybe the industries where the industry is heading, right? Like you take a look at if you're watching a sports, like if you're watching the Astros play, right?
You're not watching the Astros play right now, but thanks for bringing that up. That's rude.
Sad. They would have got down in the wild card anyways.
Yeah.
I won't go there too far. But the commercial, you know, that you still have these big HEB, you know, you have Tide, you know, these big name companies that still make commercials that run on those TVs. And I've always sat back, Coca-Cola, like they still sponsor and run ads during football games and on TV. I've sat back, I'm like, small businesses adapted that same mentality as a large business with their marketing. Like, think about what would happen. Yeah, they may not have the same amount of money, but if they took that approach instead of trying to make social media, that it's like that give and take. I understand that's different, but like in my head as a video producer, I've thought of that probably more than once. Of they make commercials and funny commercials that run during on the TV for a reason, and they're the biggest name companies on the planet.
Right. But there's also only a certain amount of marketing budget that they have. But I don't know what Coke's marketing budget is, but let's say it's like hundreds of millions of dollars, you know, a year to make billions of dollars a year. Right. So on a small scale, I even look at Clear Life. Like what do we want to use our funds as some of the business owners, you know, as business owners, what do we want to put our money towards that has the most bang for the buck? And so even on a small business perspective from, you know, a restaurant that we had worked with in the past, it's like, man, I can spend $3,000 and get a killer commercial that I'm going to use, you know, one time and then maybe post it again in 2 weeks and 6 months, you know, and get it right. Versus I can take $3,000 and put that into getting social media content every month. And if it has the return on it, you know, every time.
That you're hitting on something that I think is exactly the right point to be making to these small business owners is there has to be marketing dollars. I don't think small business owners, like especially in our area of what we've dealt with, I think marketing dollars are the last thing that they think about for the most part. And I could be wrong.
Well, you see why, right?
Right. But if you take that approach of maybe putting marketing at the front of it instead of being like a last resort, I feel like it would benefit your business more than not.
Yeah, but also the lights. I need, you know, if there's a rent or a lease agreement, hey, that's at the front. Lights are there. I need a product. So let's say a restaurant, I need to have food. Okay, now I need to make sure my employees still come. So I got to pay them. Hey, the person who owns the restaurant says, I need to pay myself something, right? I've sacrificed so much. I have to take my wife on a date. You understand that, right?
Right.
And so then where does marketing come in? It's at the end because all those things are so more.
I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but like,
Maybe
I'm probably wrong in this, but like if we took the approach of, I've always mentioned this when you and I have been talking, like spend the money first to
before
make
the light
money.
bill.
But yeah,
okay, the lights get shut off. There's no power.
That is true, but I get it. I get the point. I get the point. I get the
It's
argumentation.
It's not an argument.
I get it, but I'm saying that if people put more emphasis on marketing, because I have found that there are, how many small businesses have we talked to that do no marketing?
Yeah, they do something, but they're not maybe putting dollars behind it.
Right. So it's one of those things where I feel like that shouldn't ever be the case.
For sure. And there's different things that you can do that are at any budget. They even have like blip billboards. You know, you could create something on Canva on your phone potentially.
Right.
You know, or hire someone like Clear Life who we can work with you and creates that. Hey, blip, I'm gonna spend $100. Like, why not? What's gonna happen? Someone's going to see it and think about it and hopefully go to your restaurant, right?
Right.
You know, or I'm going to take $1,000 this month and maybe put it towards, I'm going to create some social, you know, 3 or 4 social media spots.
Right.
Right. You know, you got to try it. And what's hard is the first time somebody sees a commercial, an ad, a video, they may not frequent, and we're just using a restaurant as an analogy right now. They may not
Right.
frequent your restaurant, or they may not use your accounting services or whatever it is that you're offering, but it's the consistency of, oh, I've seen that
Ooh.
before. I think I saw them on
Ooh.
Facebook, or my friend, there's different things, and it just then someone's going to try. And I don't know what the like statistics is, like how many times does somebody see an ad before they a Crunch Fitness ad before I go sign up, right?
They used to say on the radio, or when I was in broadcasting school, I don't know if this still stands, but you have to say something three times in an ad, on a radio ad, before it kicks in. So they would tell you to say like a phone number 3 times
Yeah.
in a radio ad. Or if you wanted an information to get across, you would say that 3 times. I don't know if that's still true, but yes. So how many times do you have to see a billboard before the number is ingrained in your brain to be like, oh, I need to call? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And I think it's important to start with where you're at. Maybe if there's $0, it's like, man, I don't have anything because I need to make sure that this business is going to work. Starting with social media, I'm going to bring up Indies Coffee. They are a great example of doing
Galveston.
awesome content. Yeah. In Galveston, right there off of 61st Street. And we had the opportunity to meet them years ago, but their social media, they're consistently putting things out. And I'm sure there's some dollars being spent, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know all their business, but they do a good job of like having fun spots. Hey, these are our specials, but they're consistently out there putting out things, right?
You said 2 things that really resonate. First, the word consistency. I say that all the time. If you're going to do, back in the day when we had our radio station, it was consistently at 9 o'clock, until we switched it to 8:30. But it was 9 o'clock. It was in the morning time, 9 to 11. You knew what to expect on KGA radio. Consistency is key. People would tune in at that time just to watch live. Consistency is key, and having fun. How many times did we go do something stupid for the radio station in promotion
None.
of what we were doing?
Nothing was stupid.
Dude, I could say all the things that I had to do on that. Shaving my head, baby simulator, jumping out of an airplane. Like, we had fun doing marketing. You can still have fun doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, have fun with it. Yeah, Indies Coffee, they just came to my mind, and I think that's a good example of starting where you're at. But yeah, having fun with what you're doing, and with business, that's what they say. Like, you'll never work a day in your life if you have fun with it, right? I think we're very blessed and fortunate to work in a space that we get to have fun. It's stressful whenever you bring the stress in the room.
Why are
And
you
then
looking at me?
well, I said when you bring the stress in the room,
Us.
I'm just definitely
Is this
looking at you.
us? I never bring
Definitely.
stress.
Oh yeah.
Never.
Yeah. No, but things are good.
See, I had that conversation with somebody the other day. They were talking about, man, I got to make my rent payment. They're a small business. They're like, man, I have to pay the bill to have my suite or whatever they were doing, right? And how many times have I sat down and I was like, man, I got to pay rent for this, But you've said it before, and I have to like reinforce it sometimes, like being thankful of where we've come, right? Like, this building rent, whatever, is probably something that a small business owner has prayed about and wanted, and
right.
be thankful of that. And so, like, yeah, we're extremely blessed. Even with bills or whatever, we're blessed to be where we're at.
Yeah, these are the kind of problems that, years ago we prayed for. It's, as it's funny, like, oh man, I wish, looking at a combat sports broadcast or like a parade, like, oh man, it'd be cool, like, to be involved with that. And then we're getting calls and reached out from these different companies that you never dreamed of. And then it puts a stressful situation. Like, are we going to be able to pull this off? Like, how does this work? Are we building this budget and looking at the different things? Are they going to accept this bid? And then they do. And it's like, wow, how are we going to staff this? How are we going to do this? To be honest, but these are the kind of things that, years ago when we were starting and, with a Sling Studio, it's and GoPros or your cell phone streaming on that you never would have dreamed of. But we're in this situation now, and it is a blessing, right? These are the kind of problems that they are a blessing when you sit back and think about it.
I think that's always when you lose that perspective, that's when I feel like you're no longer having fun, and that's when businesses close down. Because again, I don't ever see us closing the doors at Clear Life, because this is fun for us.
Mhm.
This is a blessing. This is joyful. And I don't think I could ever go back to doing something other than this.
What would you do?
I couldn't even imagine that.
But pick like 3 occupations. If you weren't doing Clear Life, what would you be doing? And I could pick them for you if you would like.
Hot dog model.
That's fair. I'll write that down.
You're writing that one down. Hot dog model.
Hot dog model.
Restaurant owner, making hot dogs and grilled cheese sandwiches at Casper's Cafe. No,
Dude, you lucked out into being an owner of Clear Life. I can see you being an owner.
I'm trying to
of
think of any
else.
other occupation. I'm trying to think of any other occupation. Man, what would be another occupation? I feel like this is all I've known my entire life. I guess I was a teacher. Maybe I could go back to teaching.
For sure. Yeah, you could go back to teaching.
Go back to teaching. But that's, I mean, what's like a different...
Write that down. Teacher.
No, don't write that one. Is that 2?
Yeah, hot dog model. Teacher.
Janitor. Like I could clean.
You don't clean very well. You would not be very successful.
Dang, I'm trying to think of anything else.
No, I don't know.
That's it. That's all I have in life. Hot dog model and janitor.
Yeah, for sure.
What would you do?
I musician. That was like my first thing. I love playing music, being a musician with my friends. But at this age, like that's not happening anymore. You know, I worked for AT&T as a technician, something like that. I have more degrees than I ever thought I would have in life, and so I'm strangely and scarily overqualified for a lot of things, for most things.
Dude, Buc-ee's. I would go work at Buc-ee's. That would be the first call.
Dude,
$15 an hour minimum.
Do you remember whenever we had the sit down with the gentleman who started like Jimmy Changas and who started Gringos? We had him in studio years ago.
What is his name?
Ibarra.
I remember
Russell Ibarra.
I remember his marketing person was Lindy Vineyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had Russell Ibarra in studio, talk to him, and he was talking about being friends with the guy from Buc-ee's. But I just, I'd love to have a chat with the gentleman from Buc-ee's. I think they're from like Brazoria County, because that was the first place I ever saw Buc-ee's before they blew up, and now they're like the stop. And we're on the road a lot.
The last true Texas thing that hasn't been bought by California.
Mm-hmm. We're on the road a lot. And the thing is always, can we make it to Buc-ee's? Who has to use the restroom? Oh, well, you're waiting to, till we get to Buc-ee's, right? But I want to talk to him. And I think that he made it such a landmark. And that was by going so big, having so many different things there that people just want to go. But he's able to, at least on the outside, without having experienced anybody, working there myself, competitively pay people, like for jobs and positions there, which I think is really cool. That's something that we strive to do. We pay everybody else before. The way it goes is everybody gets paid. We want to make sure everybody's paid. Then we have to pay Curt, because he's going to cry about it if he doesn't. And then like I get a little bit kicked over on the side. You wish you could like debate that. It was like, well, yeah, that's kind of true.
I'm not going to debate that.
No, but it's important, obviously, to pay and take care of everybody. And we talk about it like, man, whenever we get to the point, I want to give everybody a raise or like incentives. We want to keep everybody excited. We love having people come in and be excited about what they're going to get to work on or be happy to be here. But I feel like Buc-ee's does that with money, because I see the rate. I'm like, man, $20 an hour.
I think even the car wash attendant makes like $26 an hour on at least their sign.
Like, yeah, $40 an hour. Like, let's go. What am I doing?
And mid-management makes like $200,000 a year. And I was like, bro, I got into the wrong industry. I should have been at Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I thought about this. I'm like, man, even if I like, let's say I didn't want to sleep at night and went and worked 8-hour shifts at Buc-ee's overnight. I'm like, dude, that'd be nice.
Yeah. I've thought about that with HEB, like for years. I don't know how many times, where it's like, man, we've made a lot of sacrifices with Clear Life.
People don't realize that as business owners.
Business owners
know that. I don't think people who want to go and start a business I didn't realize it was this hard.
Yeah. There's a lot of sacrifice. And so I've thought about, hey, what do I need to do? Like, I mean, when I was a musician, when I wasn't touring, I'd deliver pizzas. Like, I could do that now. What's stopping me now? You know, like if I needed to, or like
Life.
stop, yeah, you know, having a wife and kids and stuff and be able to see them at night and stuff. But, you know, like overnight stalking at HEB or things like that, you know, if that's ever necessary, if it came down to that, yeah, I'd easily do it.
Would they look at our resume and be like, why do they want to work here? Like if I went and applied right now to Buc-ee's, you
No,
think
they would hire you.
me?
They would, I mean, after they talk to you, maybe not the interview if it doesn't,
Wow.
if it, how it depends on how it goes.
Buc-ee's,
bro.
don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, I think going back to the job, I could always go back to like AT&T or something in that field, and a musician in some way. Even the bands that I grew up, you know, listening to now, they're like, oh, I'm not on the road anymore. I'm a music producer and studio guy, you know. And then something else. I mean, I could go work for, try and get some company with marketing or media or something like that. Try and get back into radio. Have tons of experience with that.
Maybe even like I've thought about this too. Like, how could I be a social media influencer? Living the life on the yacht, you know, like
Yeah.
some of the big names like Miss Gift that we met the other day, you know, at the melee competition. Like, I'm like, dude,
It's consistently working.
consistently.
For sure. And then showing parts of your life, which I know you're not afraid of doing, like showing different parts of your life that's not normal. Here's something else that I wanted to talk about.
Okay, switching subject.
What are the odds and what is the map, the game plan for us to work our way into working the UFC White House card
June 14th.
next summer?
June 14th. They just announced the date.
Yeah, I've heard that Dana White recently said that there are no matches that are confirmed as of the recording of this. But what are the odds of us weaseling our way into there? Because as crazy as that is, like we found ourselves in way crazier rooms that I never would have thought we would have deserved a seat at the table or filming or working.
I had a dream about this last night.
You told me.
I said I had Dana White, who I was apparently talking to him because Eric Garcia introduced us, which is kind of funny, right? Like,
Bro.
Thanks, Eric.
Dream Eric.
Eric, thank you.
Looking out in the dreams.
Like, oh yeah, so I hear you're the guy that's making Fury's broadcast amazing. Like Dana White said that to me. I don't know why I'm having these dreams, but I'm having these.
I could
dreams.
see you like sleeping and you're like just so happy, like yeah, yeah. Eric said that. Yeah, that's my guy.
This one was
We're
probably
best
the
friends.
best friends. Me and Dana.
Friends.
Dana's like, yeah, I want you to take my broadcast to the next level. I'm like, I got you. That's what we do here at Clear Life.
Peacock, Paramount, whatever their deal is coming in, and they need to step it up. And
they need the Clear Life touch.
Oh, I was waiting for that. I was
UFC.
saying, oh, they don't need Clear Life. They need Curt.
No,
because that's usually where it goes. Clear Life.
Okay,
Clear
and
Life.
Curt. And Curt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Eric Garcia.
So what's the probability of us getting in there and weaseling our way in? I would say it's low because we only have like 6 months.
Well, okay.
But crazier things have happened.
Who's watching this podcast? Can I say? I would say it would be better depending on what goes down starting January 2026.
Okay. Well, hopefully, Dana White, if you're watching, we will cover this. You know, Eric, we appreciate the connection in Curt's dream for making this happen.
The next question beyond that is, what are the odds that they would let us on the White House grounds?
You would be trying to fight with the Secret Service that the trailer has to go here. No, I cannot use a fly pack. I have to use the trailer. Have you ever seen Curt? He'll argue with anybody over nothing. And so he would be going toe to toe with the Secret Service over that.
Dude, I take it serious and nobody else takes it seriously.
Yeah, the Secret Service doesn't take it serious. So Curt has to.
They would like
in.
bomb sniff everything.
Yeah.
They would have to. Like, imagine going through all of we would have to have much more equipment than what we currently have anyways. But imagine having to go through all of that equipment, just like the process of that, like coming into the White House. That would be nuts.
Yeah.
It's a lot of equipment.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I pray that it happens. If we could be involved, that would be amazing. I would say the odds are not in our favor.
I think there's the odds of going and being a part of the show. Yes.
Well, are they going to sell tickets?
The broadcast? Heck
no, we're not going to do the broadcast.
Heck no, we're not anywhere close to that.
I mean, but I look at like UFC BJJ and I'm looking at the videographers there and I was like, I know him. Like, I feel like it's a phone call, away potentially if I wanted to, and we had the free time to go and do that. I feel like I could get in.
Should we make a post saying that we want to be at the UFC White House event and anybody who can get us in now.
No, because the first time we go to a UFC event is going to be us working it in some way. And
Thank you, David Martinez.
thank you, anybody. Yeah,
I
I've
thought
never been
that
to a
was going to
UFC
be
event.
New Orleans, but you know,
That's because David said he's not your friend. He's your business partner.
I
It's
wanted
all
to go
good.
to that event so
Yeah.
bad.
But I wanted to touch on that. I think that's a really cool thing that's coming up. It's a big deal. It's that's like world news. You know, it's not just MMA news. It's not just jiu-jitsu news. It's not just Clear Life news. That's like world news. And it's interesting. It's showing the way that the world's going, and that's a massive audience.
I'm intrigued. Have you seen the renderings
I saw a draw. Yeah, like
and
one.
the lights?
Mm-hmm.
They're like arches.
Mm-hmm.
All kind of look like the St. Louis Arch, you know, over the cage. How are they going to do that?
I don't know.
That I've never seen anything like that ever
Yeah.
on any scope of anything.
Yeah.
Like obviously you'd have to custom build the arches, but then having those lights, I mean, it's going to look sick.
It'll be fun.
Like that will be a cool experience. It's outdoors, right? Like they're planning it outside. It's going to be hot.
We'll see. I don't know. In the summer, I don't know about DC. Here's the thing. You know, we've done some outside events. We've done multiple. San Antonio, we did Muay Thai. We've done professional wrestling with Reality of Wrestling in Texas City. The thing about that, it was really humid where we're at, Texas City, Texas.
Right.
And it was super slippery. I remember that because they were going out there and trying to rub down the wrestling mat to make sure that nobody got hurt. But that was a great event. It's cool to be outside if the weather permits, but I mean they have to be outside. I think
October, I think, in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. That was probably the most memorable broadcast I've ever been on.
That was it, huh?
That I think so. Just because the environment that we were in was so unique and different, than what we've ever experienced, and I don't know, it just having our Clear Life trailer across the back like that. I think didn't we have a camera on top of the trailer?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like the coolest broadcast memorable broadcast that I can remember.
I like San Antonio a lot. Fury is doing a San Antonio show, right. And we're going to be out there helping with some of the promotional content, I suppose. And then October 26th, Fury is going to be in Houston for Amateur Series 59. And Carlos Enrique and I think it's Darius Diamond are going to be on that card. So Carlos Enrique, UFC BJJ champ. Stephen Ewald, he's out of ACS, the light heavyweight champion. I believe he's going to be defending that title. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but we actually just made a promo and haven't put it out yet for that. And one more thing I want to talk about.
Last thing.
I think it's a Challenger Series. Is it Challenger Series 14?
15.
It's 15?
15.
It may be Challenger Series 15.
15. Last one was 14.
Is stacked. That card and the names that are on it are crazy. And the only one that comes to mind right now is Jackson Glass. And he's on there, and I'm a big Jackson Glass fan. He's
sponsored by Clear Life
Media. He's a current star, on the regional level, and will be in the UFC, as fast as he chooses to be in his coach's allow.
The crazy thing about Jackson, I'm sorry if you're watching this, but he doesn't look like a UFC fighter, but he's good. Does that make sense? Like,
no, keep going. I want to hear how you get out.
Like, he doesn't look like one. Like, if you look at like the guys in the UFC, he doesn't look like anything like that.
Well, he just turned 18.
Yeah,
I believe, young. And he fought at 145 pounds. He has gotten so much taller, I would say, in the last 3 years. He's maybe around my height. He's probably 5'11", 5'10". He's super long arms. So he's not done growing, most likely.
Right.
So he's going to fill out his frame. Maybe eventually he'll move up to 155 whenever he finishes growing. But he's already turned pro. He has a fight coming up. He goes out there and was training with Merab for his camp, and Merab's coach was on an interview saying that Merab, the champion, just defended his title again. That Jackson Glass was the most one of the best, if not the best, training partner that they had for Merab to give it a look against Corey Sandhagen.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
The only other thing, like, for Jackson is like he's super friendly. He's a good guy, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he's not scary looking. When you look at him, there's some couple guys on the USC that I'm not saying hi to them. You know, like I would be scared out of my pants to even talk to them because I'd scared that they
I know what you mean.
That's what I'm saying too. Like he doesn't look like that, but he's good.
He's nice.
very, very nice guy.
Yeah.
Very good at what he does too. Just that's all I'm getting at with that.
Of course. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Dude, just message Clear Life. You know, I think there's an opportunity for you to connect with us. We'd love to work with you. I think it would be amazing. And there's plenty of opportunities.
Right.
Big, small, we got you covered.
Right. If somebody ever wants to come and look at our studio, you can schedule a tour. You don't even have to schedule it. Just reach out to us. Hey, can I stop in? I want to see what you guys got going on. You don't even have to want to use it for work or for video content. I just want to come see what you do. You know, that's really exciting for us to be able to share, you know, what we do and share the space and how we got there. There was a guy I was talking to earlier today. I did a podcast with him, and it was about jiu-jitsu. And so he was excited about jiu-jitsu. And that's what I told him. I said, man, whenever somebody's excited about something, it gets other people excited about something. It can be talking about God. It can be talking about a product, you know, a certain kind of food. It can be talking about broadcast. And I know that's what gets us excited a lot. And people see that, and that's contagious. So I don't know. If you have a message, make sure you're excited and passionate about it, because it's going to come off. I think better received, right?
Yeah. Anything is possible with Clear Life Media.
All things. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
We're Clear Life Media. Reach out to us, info@clearlifemedia.com. We'll talk to you soon. Y'all be blessed.
Bye, guys.